What Gianno Caldwell makes of this, Fox News political analyst, Out Loud with Gianno Caldwell, podcast host, all-around nice guy. He strikes me as someone who would have a lot of robots in his household dealing with this. How are you?
Well, Neil, I want to tell you, you're one of the funniest hosts on television. I heard that.
Well, look, you know, this is wild, though, if you think about it, John. I mean, we don't have a labor shortage. We have plenty of available labor and plenty of job offerings. We have very few takers, right? So, you know, when life gives you lemons, I can understand, you know, manufacturers making lemonade here, but this is all going the machine route. Now, this looks like a good idea, what Jeff Locke was reporting on, but I'm just wondering, all those people passing up an opportunity to take advantage of all these job offerings, whether they might rue the day.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with that assessment, and we got to just take a look back in history a little bit. There was a study that showed from 1990 to 2007, there were about 400,000 jobs lost due to automation, I should say. And a recent study showed that by 2025, about 2 million workers will be displaced due to automation. That can be found in Time Magazine, time.com. Now, the interesting fact is we often know that policy a lot of times correlates with what happens in this space. We looked at what happened when folks were looking to raise the minimum wage in particular cities. You saw McDonald's, Burger King, and a lot of other places say, hey, we're going to get rid of a lot of our staff, and you're just going to punch in your order on the machine. And considering the fact that we got a president in office now who's really looking to raise taxes, and I know people say, yeah, it's on just the wealthy. That's not true. These things often trickle down, and it's more for everyone because companies make changes so they don't get their bottom line hit as hard. So this is a time where I think that the president needs to be paying very, very close attention because he's putting Americans in a bad light right now because folks, I mean, they're not working, and the truth of the matter is it's going to only get worse from here.
Well, not as the White House sees it. We've been monitoring the White House presser going on, Gianno, and they say they understand the frustration of a lot of Americans when backlogs lead to higher prices or delayed goods. No way they timed how long that would last. Obviously, it's gone back from, you know, this is all transitory, but acknowledging the first time that I can about this frustration with higher prices. What do you think of the administration's response to all of this?
I think they haven't been honest, and I'm being honest totally because I think Washington Post had a liar meter for the Trump administration, which I think should apply for the Biden administration because he's been dishonest a number of times, his press secretary as well. The truth of the matter is folks are trying to build back broke at this particular point. A lot of folks have lost everything in the pandemic, and now we have a president who's looking to levy a tax increase on Americans that we talked about recently could equate to up to 50%, if not more, when you count everything up. And that's a problem. We should be focusing on putting people in jobs, stopping certain mandates from taking place. We should allow for jobs to kind of operate in a way that they want so they can bring their employees back in and allow them to incentivize the folks who are relying on unemployment and other things and staying home because they're making more. Those things need to be quashed and people need to come back into the workplace because there's jobs available.
Plenty of them available. Thank you, John. Great seeing you, my friend. Out Loud with Gianno Caldwell.